guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about everything that happened last week, all of the little stories we didn't get to talk about, so consider this a weekly tea recap or something like that. We're going to be talking about Gabby Hannah again. I know you never get tired of her, more of her response that she got on her new music project, as well as some of her recent tweets. We're also going to talk about Nikita Dragun copying Trisha, and there has been some podcast drama with Ryland Adams. But before we get into all of the tea, let me stop you right there and make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn your post notifications on. It really helps out, and give this video a big old thumbs up. Alright, buckle up and let's get into the tea. Let's start off with Gabby Hannah. I feel like she is the new Trisha for this channel. I know we're not supposed to give her any attention, but like her actions need to be talked about. So what did Gabby do again? Well, we're gonna look over some of the comments on her new music project. I mentioned in my last video, but it has gotten more and more negative attention. Also, we're gonna look at her more recent tweets, and one of her biggest idols, Burnham, might have shaded her. If you followed Gabby and all the drama this past month, she was basically putting on this act of having a mental breakdown, coming for people, letting her fans attack anyone who speak badly about her, and so much more. And why did she do all of that? She said that she was working on a docu-series, so we thought, okay, she's gonna get into drama to promote herself as usual. And then it ended up being a music project. Matter of fact, it wasn't an original song even. She did all of this for a cover of You Oughta Know by Alanis Morissette. The cover wasn't bad actually, but people were really disappointed in her because she caused so much stress to others just for this. Oh, and let's add the fact that she shaded people's reviews because of her name, but her cover barely got 100,000 views in a day. And the like to dislike ratio is pretty bad. 10k likes versus 7,000 dislikes. Yikes. I don't think she can pull off the I am shadow banned card anymore. She also changed her main channel name back to The Gabby Show. A lot of people liked her cover but couldn't enjoy it because of her actions. Here is what most of the comments looked like. The viewer's voice said, "Imagine having to act the way you did for a cover song. Tragic. Hard to appreciate this video when I watched you hysterically cry over not getting enough views and appreciation from us on the last video. Only 87,000 views. Let me guess, you're gonna act like YouTube doing it rather than just admitting that you put yourself in this position. The like ratio speaks volumes. Was the month-long tantrum worth it?" And lastly, one user said, "Good performance, but I would have enjoyed it more if she just announced it instead of causing mental breakdowns to get people's attention. Considering how much she talks about her own struggles with it. I felt bad for her last breakdown, but now it's kind of obvious she thrives on other people's pain and doesn't care about how many bridges she burns." And yesterday she tweeted out a few things that again are not seen in a very positive light. She talked about how she turns her trauma into art and has spent the last few months turning her tragedies into art. Gabby also talked about finally being herself and not holding back. Didn't she say that last year too? And in her podcast earlier this year? Some people said that she's trying to victimize herself to gain sympathy after the recent backlash. It's interesting how she hasn't responded to any of that after her initial outburst. Gabby has stayed pretty quiet about anything that has come out of her recently. She tweeted, "I've been so inspired in so many ways recently. I've been unlocking so many paths of creativity that I didn't know I had. I've been writing in the rawest, most vulnerable form that I couldn't get before. My new cares replaced the old ones, and I'm no longer holding myself back. I had planned on putting it out a few weeks ago, but decided to take a break and take my time. The best advice I've gotten recently was slow down. So I slowed down. I finally organized my house, found a new love for fashion, created moving poetry, filmed a music video, and edited. The thing that's always healed me was creating art out of the things that hurt me. I was never able to create and release on so many situations. I've spent the last few months turning all my tragedies into a work of art. Series is still in the works, but so close to finished." One user said, "Oh god, not the series again. I thought that was more trolling to promote a cover of a song that you butchered with auto-tuning. You have a lot of people to apologize to." Another user said, "I hope that in this series you also take accountability for the things you did wrong and not only place the blame on everyone else." Bringing the series up again, cover must not be getting that much positive attention if she's already cruising for drama to get attention again already. People on Twitter are also pretending that she died for some reason. Defnoodle said, "It appears numerous people are posting under RIP Gabby Hannah and sharing posts and images stating Gabby Hannah has passed. However, Gabby has not passed. The image below is just photoshopped." This is gross. No matter who the person is, I think similar things have happened to Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, and other influencers that have been problematic. But seriously, this is not good to be joking around with. But since we're talking about Gabby, I thought I would add this in. And lastly, Gabby may or may not have been shaded shaded by one of her idols, Burnham. She's talked about him being her inspiration on several occasions. She's tweeted quite frequently at him as well.
This is the biggest compliment that I've ever gotten, that she called both mine and Burnham's work disappointing. She called Burnham's work disappointing.
In his performance of White Woman's Instagram in his new special Inside, he seems to be throwing some shade at her. Here's a short clip for context. Some people said that this was a popular trend that a lot of people did, not only on TikTok, where Gabby got heavily mocked about this picture in particular. The trend goes way back to MySpace and Tumblr days, so maybe Bo is making fun of that, but you never know, maybe it was towards Gabby. Tell me what you think about Gabby and what's been happening with her. Do you think the negative reaction on her cover are deserved? Would you be interested in watching her docuseries? Comment down below. Moving on, let's talk about Ryland Adams. We've mentioned him here a few times about his podcast and being engaged to Shane Dawson, but we haven't talked about him in a hot minute. So what's been going on with him? As you guys probably know, Ryland has a podcast called The Sip, and he is co-hosting it with his friend Lizzie Gordon. They started off as a tea/drama podcast that covers hot topics on the internet, including celebrities and internet personalities. They had a few situations where they were in some hot water for giving Jeffree Star a platform, Shane using the podcast to see how people feel about him, disregarding Trisha when she was bullied by Jeffree and his hair guy, which, by the way, he said that he was going to fire him because he doesn't stand by his actions. And shortly after, he said that he still tagged him days later. People thought, oh, maybe it's because it's content shot prior to the Trisha drama and Jeffree still had to tag the hair guy, but nope, Jeffree was working with Hair by Jay again very recently, so there's that. But let's get back to Ryland. So recently, people have noticed that he constantly cuts off Lizzie whenever she talks. He doesn't seem that interested in what she has to say, and in one of the recent episodes, she wanted to plug her movie that she took a part in, and let's just say Ryland didn't come off very happy about that. He started mocking her a little bit. He didn't seem interested at all in seeing her clip, and overall he looked very, very annoyed. And in their latest episode, Ryland was pissed at his fans. He was legit big mad for, try to guess, people wanting longer podcast episodes. I'm sorry, what now? He was thinking that people were attacking him for wanting longer episodes of their podcast. All of those comments were happening because they uploaded an hour-long episode, and usually their episodes are between 30 to 40 minutes long, which is pretty short, I guess, for a podcast. If you are a podcast listener, you know typically they're at least an hour, because it's just the type of content that you can put in the background while doing other stuff. For example, Frenemy started off as being 1 hour long, and now due to the huge success and people loving it, their episodes are now 2 to 2.5 hours long. Here are some of the demanding comments that he says apparently are demanding. Finally, a video that wasn't chopped down to 38 minutes when it's a podcast. Wait, I'm loving that it's an hour long. Okay, I'll be back when I finished watching it. Yes, it's finally an hour. Yes, hour-long special, love it. And here's what he said.
Pretty upset over this past week about the podcast.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
What happened?
All of the comments were like, finally a podcast! Not cut down to nothing. And
No, why would you be upset about that? People love us. They want more. I tell you this every week.
It's the aggression in which they approach
It's a comment. You're creating the aggression in your articulation.
They're creating the aggression in the way that they're saying they appreciate a longer
Right.
podcast. They could just say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for the hour-long podcast. And instead, they're saying, finally, a podcast that isn't cut all the way down to nothing. This is essentially a vlog show.
And while he was going off on people's comments saying that they were really aggressive, Lizzie was like, wait, you're upset for people wanting to see more of our show? She told him he was taking it the wrong way and that people were excited to watch more content. After that, people were like, Lizzie needs to get her own podcast. Can you imagine this? I get you can be sensitive towards comments, but like, this is not a bad thing. Ryland, you need to be more appreciative, especially when your fiance is one of the most hated influencers. Even though they have a strong fan base, the fact that Ryland's career hasn't been affected that much during this last year, besides the times where he defended Jeffree Star and couldn't take criticism for a minute, when his falling out with with Trish. But overall, Ryland hasn't been that affected and his check hasn't been cut at all. And he really needs a reality check to see what people want to see from him on the internet. That's a good thing for him. The attitude and the sass was just too much. Don't be complaining about people wanting more of your content. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Was Ryland just too sensitive? Tell me your thoughts down below. And lastly, let's talk about Nikita Dragun copying Trisha Paytas. So Nikita posted a video recently called I Was F***ed by a Ghost. People were confused and kind of bullied her for the way that she started the video. Then a fan tweeted at her saying it sounded interesting. She responded, I wish in every ounce of my plastic that this video was clickbait. Dustin Dilly says, sounds a lot like an OG at Trisha Paytas video. Then Trisha responded with this saying, cause it is, showing a screenshot of a video that she posted 6 years ago titled I Had with a Ghost. Then a lot of people were like, is Nikita trying to copy our Queen Trish? Wow, she's really trying to be on frenemies and stuff like that. If you guys know, Trisha and Nikita had a few fights a couple of weeks ago. They were going at each other on Twitter and it was kind of messy. So who knows if Nikita was still trying to have beef with Trish. We all know that Nikita only gets attention when she's in a scandal. At least this one is not involving the small windshield mask she wears all the time. I don't know, guys. I think all of this is silly. The title gives the storytime Tana Mojo vibes tool. Although Trisha had a lot of crazy stories like that as well, but back in their trolling days. I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it just some petty way for Nikita to be talked about? Let me know in the comments down below. That was it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I post new videos every single week. Alright, bye.